Okay, we're all set. Let's do this. Let's go. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. And what did I do? I didn't do much this weekend. That's what weekends are for. I basically watched a lot of football with my son, and I did what I always do on weekends, a lot of house cleaning, I must say. I mean, my studio is pretty much a mess, but at home, I kind of like keeping my house pretty clean. So that's what I usually do on weekends, vacuum cleaner, dusting, anyways. So that was my weekend. So what we usually do when we start off on Mondays, and like we do every day, is we go over to the computer and we check out what we did on Friday. Well, this time we're not going to do that for the simple reason that on Friday, we added a second coat to our plants. And I didn't see it fitting to make a video of putting dark gray on top of dark gray. So let's basically just move on to what we're going to do today. What we're going to do is we're going to put highlights to our leaves like that tomorrow. All we'll have to do is put a lot of, just finish off our background with black outlines to our leaves, our nuclear towers, and then we can comfortably start attacking the foreground, our Zen Rebel-Devil, and move on to finishing this painting maybe by Friday. So all we have to do is, like I said, tomorrow finish the background, do the foreground, and then of course we have the frame. And am I being too optimistic by saying we'll be done by Friday? I don't know, maybe, maybe not. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, let's not waste any time, even though today will probably be a short stream because once I put these light gray details on these leaves, I'm not going to be able to do anything until that paint dries. And it is getting colder in the studio day by day. I actually added a t-shirt under my shirt today. So little by little, it's getting to be winter. And therefore, the paint takes longer to dry. So anyways, let me just grab a palette here. I guess anyone will do. This one looks pretty good. Why not? And I'm going to make some light gray paint that we will use as an outline. And then tomorrow we'll finish off with some black paint, the whole thing. So let's start off with the white paint, because I noticed, since this is a new jar of white paint, the white paint is pretty thick, so we have to start off basically by adding water to it to make it a little, so it would flow easier on the canvas. So that's the first step that we have to do. Look, it's so thick that it won't even fall off the knife. So we're going to start off with that. And then when we have the right texture of the white paint, I'll add in the black paint afterwards. And I won't put too much black because I do want to keep this very light. If possible, get the same kind of tint that we have on our nuclear plant here, on the tower to our nuclear plant. So I got that done. I am going to grab a thicker paintbrush just to blend in the water so it goes a little faster than if I use the brush that I'm actually going to be using. So what brush could I use here? I guess it doesn't really matter. Ah, yes, okay. I see that back here in my kitchen area, I have a couple of brushes that I just washed last Friday, and I forgot to bring them over here. And this is the one I'm going to use to blend in the water. So anyways, that said, maybe I'll use this one. It's even a little bit wider, so it should go a little quicker. So let's blend in this water, try to get the right texture to our paint. And I'm going to start off right away by adding a little more white. I always tend to be a little bit stingy when I start off making some colors or whatever, some paint or whatnot. So this time I'm just going to very quickly add more white and make sure I have the right quantity right off from the top. There we go. So let's just blend this with water. As I say often on this stream, that if I was blending several colors, I would go over to camera number 1 over there, and I would do it on camera number 1. But since it's just adding water to white paint, it's really not that thrilling. So I might as well just do this right here very quickly. And then I'll bring in the black paint to make a light gray. So when I was mentioning earlier that I watch a lot of football with my son, for our American friends, I mean soccer, of course. There's only one kind of football, right? And it's soccer. The other thing there that looks like rugby for babies, that's American football. Rugby for babies, yep, I know. My friends were here from the States, boy. I guess I'd have an earful right now. So this is nice and creamy here. This looks like just the right kind of texture. Probably needs another drop of water, but I'll do that as I blend in the black paint to make this light gray. And here again, I'm going to be very cautious and do this in stages. Start with just a little bit, and then if it's not dark enough, I'll add a little more. I've been doing that throughout the entire painting, and I must say I have not regretted being that careful. For my background, the shading, I started off by making it a little too dark, so I lightened it. Really happy with the final result. It's very subtle. Of course, on the camera, when there's a lot of contrast, it looks great. But in real life, you want things to be subtle. So that will turn out to be okay. My little electromagnetic rings that are on the background as well, I was trying to make sure they weren't too dark. The gray wasn't too dark, so it didn't stick out. And it didn't work out perfect. And then when I did the leaves, that first coat was a little light. Fortunately, thanks to the second coat, we were able to darken it just a little bit as well. So everything so far has worked out pretty good. Usually I'm kind of bold and I, make contrasts a little too heavy because usually well, whatever. It doesn't matter why. So let me just put a little bit of black right there. When I say a little bit, I think I might have put too much. I won't use all of it. I'm going to start off with maybe half of what I just put on my palette. And we'll see what happens when we start blending it in. Should maybe stop talking so much and concentrate a little more, especially since we're Monday and I'm always a little rusty on Mondays. Okay, so let me just grab, there we go, just a little bit, and blend all this in with the white. And I have a feeling what I just took might be just the right amount, if not too much already. So just by making it nice and homogeneous is when I'm really going to be able to see if this is going to be the right color or not. It's a light gray, but it looked a little darker because I have to keep in mind also when the paint dries, it has a tendency to darken as well. So that's another consideration I have to think about when I blend in the black and the white. But as it blends in, it seems to, I don't know, be the right color, the right hue that I was looking for. Let me just keep blending it in. We don't want any black or white streaks when we do our details. Squeeze all this over here. There we go. Try to avoid the black paint that I have on the side of my palette here. Just going to turn my palette away from me. There we go. So this looks pretty good, nice and creamy. Now, is this going to be the right hue for our details? Well, there's only one way to find out, and it's to try it. So let me find the right paintbrush. That's important as well. I might have to switch paintbrushes when I go from the larger leaves to the smaller ones. No big deal. And what's this guy going to look like? At first sight, this looks like the right brush. It might be a little too big. There's only one way to find out, though. It's to try it. Way here is one hiding. That looks a little bit smaller. We'll put him aside in case. Okay, so that covers these guys. What about here? I always forget about these longer paint brushes that often do the trick as well. So let's try this one. I'm going to try this lighter one first. Let me just wet it a little bit, get the brushes nice and wet. And I'm going to now take off the excess water. I'm going to bring over camera number one a little bit closer. Yeah, come on over here, buddy. And we're going to start off on this left-hand corner up here. Like that I always like starting up here and then just working my way down. Always for the same reason, to avoid putting my hand in the paint. But let me move this back. I can always zoom in a little bit to make sure that I'm not in the way, not in the frame. So let's try that. Am I in the way? No, just my hand. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let me just stand back for a second. Take a look. I think my paintbrush is going to be just right for the leaves and the spider plant. But I might have to switch to maybe a larger brush for this plant. So we'll see. So let me just get the brush ready. Ready to tackle a week of painting. Okay, so let's switch over to camera number one. There we go. And let's see what happens here. Okay, I think that's... So this looks like it's the right size brush. The color looks right as well. And the texture of the paint is just flowing on the canvas beautifully. So okay, so far so good. Very nice. Very nice. And I think I'll be able to use the same brush for that leaf up there as well. All I'll have to do is kind of just press a little harder on it. But first, let's tackle this spider plant right here. I'm going to do this for a few minutes and then maybe I'll play some music because I am going to have to stay concentrated on this. This is the perfect kind of painting or section of the painting that we can listen to music. That looks pretty good. So let's continue. Again, knowing that I'm going to be putting that black paint as an outline tomorrow gives me a lot of flexibility. A lot of flexibility and not being worried that everything has to be perfect right from the start. So far it is, I must say, but as I get tired and moving along, knowing that I have that flexibility afterwards of making a little screw up here and there, that's really helpful. Okay, very good. So let's tackle that big boy up there. And I'm going to just come over here and I'm going to start playing some music. This is music from my friend Jacek, who plays the guitar. And often I play his music when he's with my friend Diego on the violin and Lucien on the drum. This is a solo endeavor. I thought I'd just change him, mix it up a little bit. So let's go back to our camera number 1 and listen to the music to Jacek at the same time as we paint. Okay, so everything is going softly and smoothly so far. That's great. All right. Very nice, very nice. This is the way I like my Mondays to go. Very cool. So let's move on to this next spider plant, I guess. Since we're right there, why not? Except here I'm going to have to do it a little bit. Try to do it in a way where I'm not putting my hands in the paint, so I'll start off here, maybe. All right, very good, very good. So let's just move back to these middle plants right here, these leaves in the middle. Zoom in a little bit, just like that. And I will come over here though for a few seconds, just to get a little swig of water. And to step back and take a look at my painting as well. Just get rid of that little pop-up window. Has a tendency to do that on its own. And I shut off the music by mistake, so let's go back to that. There we go. Very good. Very good. So let's come on back way over here to the left-hand side and continue on these little leaves right here. as I get to my destroyed city here, it's going to get a little complicated because I knifed all this on. So there's a tremendous amount of texture there. I'm going to have to load up the paintbrush and go over this back and forth several times, which is absolutely no big deal, but I just thought I'd mention it. And I think I need my chair as well, so I might as well grab that. Pull that over here. So, I'm just going to stop the music just for a split second here and come over here for just for a minute. Then I'd like to check something out here on my computer. So, let me see, more polite if I do it like this. What did I want to check out? I wanted to go over here for a split second. And there we go. I just wanted to do this double, make sure that we had the music on this double camera. So I'll just come over here again and get rid of this little pop-up window just to be back in order. And I'll go back to this dual camera with the music this time. There we go. All these little things I have to remember and yet stay concentrated. Oops, hair in the paint. There we go, got that out of the way. All these little details I have to remember, especially that I hadn't switched to music in a real long time. So let's get back to this heavily textured part of the painting. Just have to go back and forth with a brush loaded. One of my favorite songs by Jacek, from the movie Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro, from the Ghibli anime studios in Japan. That's the part a little tedious there, again, because of the knifing of the background. There we go. Yeah, very good, very good. So let's move on over to our final leaves over here. I guess I'm going to start with the top ones and work my way down. Oh, what a difference when there's no texture. This is like painting on glass. So maybe I'm going to start with these these leaves right over here though first. And work my way to the right. But first I'm going to put my camera, hold on a second here. Give my camera a little bit of juice here. There we go. Battery was running low. This is that new camera I bought not that long ago because of my older camera that I had like for 15 years was starting to lose focus. Every time I zoom in or something, it would just kind of lose its focus automatically, no matter if I put it on manual or automatic. But after 15 years for a cheapo camera, I can't ask too much from it. It did the job for so many years. So let's go back to camera number 1. Okay. Just a few more leaves to go. And all this is going to make so much more sense tomorrow when we put the outline, the final outline to these leaves. Wait till tomorrow for that. Okay, let's get that last leaf, and we'll call it quits for the day. Well, maybe. Okay, I'm going to stop the music for a few seconds, come back to camera number 2 here. Step back and take a look and see what we've done so far. Make sure I didn't forget any leaves or anything. Doesn't look like it. Okay, it looks pretty good. So, I think what I'm going to do next is put on our first coat of our frame. That's going to just take a few minutes and that will be done. Since I do have quite a bit of paint left here, might as well use it up. And my guy here, I am going to have to paint this first since it's the background of the hand. So far, there's going to be another hand in the background here. And do him last, I guess. So it's a good idea. I'm going to work on the frame. So I'm going to add a little more white paint. I'm not going to paint this entire thing. If you remember, I lined up just the border here and leaving some excess to stretch on a canvas afterwards. I didn't used to do it like that. I used to paint right to the edge, but my gallery owner asked me if I didn't mind, first of all, using a standard size canvas so it would cost less when they stretch it by some professionals afterwards, rather than me doing any size that looked good to my eyes. So I said, sure, why not? What the hell? You're the guy paying me the big bucks, man. The least I can do is paint the size that you want. Hell yeah. Makes no difference to me as long as it keeps the kind of ratio that I like. So, okay, so I got some there, white paint. I got some black paint left over from before, because this is going to be very dark. So I might as well put in all the black paint. That's not going to be enough anyway, so I might as well add some black right now. Again, still trying to be careful not to go too dark either. Just find that right happy, go in like increments, little by little. I hope the word is increments. I think that's an English word. Okay, let's clean off the knife though before we do anything. Let's cover up the white paint so we don't drop any gray or black paint in there. There we go, we're in no rush. It is only Monday. And let's enjoy ourselves because this is what we love doing. So there we go. Got all that done. I'm going to grab a larger brush to do the frame. This one's kind of a little bit small, but anyways, just to do the blending It's going to be fine. So let's blend all this in, get the right hue that we want. Then we'll switch brushes. Just grab a little bit more water here. There we go. And let's blend all this in. Get a nice, scrumptious, dark gray. I would like to have a gray that's slightly darker than my leaves and towers. That's what I'm aiming for. It is the frames, so it doesn't matter. There's going to be a lot of highlights on that, and it's the first coat. Just like with the leaves, we can always change our color afterwards when we put the second coat on. Now, when we did the leaves, I was hoping only one coat, though I knew it'd take 2 coats, but I was kind of still hoping, since gray is kind of an opaque color, hoping that 1 coat would get away with it. And of course it didn't. Just like I don't think I have enough paint here to do the entire frame, and it's not even dark enough. So, but still, I'm going to start off. I'm going to add the white paint first, another good little glob of it. I got plenty of white. It's not the most expensive of paints either, so there we go. I got the white there. And let's clean off the knife and then get some more black paint that we will add to it. There we go. And there we go. I hope that's not going to be too dark. Too dark to see. It like a knocking on a heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on a heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on a heaven's door. Okay, so let's blend all this together, make it nice and homogeneous. Go, there we go. Blend it in, blend it in. It's darkening a little bit. That looks like a good, like we're on the right track. Let's just make it nice and homogeneous so we don't have darker and grayer areas, darker and lighter areas, I should say. I'll do that afterwards when I do my shading to make this frame look deeper, richer. Right now, I just want to get one nice homogeneous color. So that looks pretty good, nice and homogeneous. Now, the great question is, keeping in mind, of course, that it's going to darken again when it dries. So, what is this color going to do? I'm going to lay it right next to this leaf here. I'm not sure if I really want to go darker than that. So I think I'm going to go with this color. It's slightly lighter than the leaves and the towers, but like I said, I can, if I decide tomorrow, once it's dry and it darkens, when I put the second coat on, that's when I'll decide if I should make it a little bit darker or even a little bit lighter. Right now, I think the important thing is just to put on that first coat Like that, it has time to dry and gives us time to think about what we want to do afterwards. So I'm just going to grab a brush that's a little bit wider, put that to soak for a few seconds. There we go. And like usual, I'm going to start on that left-hand corner and just work my way around. So I might as well get camera number 1 up here, ready for action, in such a way where I'm not standing in front of the lens, of course. Something that I hate doing. So that looks pretty good to start off with. Let me get the excess water off this brush. There we go. And so let's switch over to camera number 1. I'm going to not play any music right away. I don't think this is going to go by pretty quickly, so just going to concentrate not to have this drip on my painting. This is the edge of our frame, which will also have black paint on the inside and outside edges of this frame. Let me just do the hard part first. Let me move this chair out of the way so I can move the camera over and so that I'm not in front of it. There we go. Let me just do the hard part first, which is the edges. Now, when I put my outside black line here on the edge, it won't matter if it's a little bit whiter. Actually, the guys who stretch these canvases like it to have a little margin to play with. So I'll do that with the black paint. But with this color, I'm going to try to be as precise as possible. Good exercise as well. Draw straight lines. Holding my breath in. Okay, very good so far. Let's do the same right down here. Okay, I'm going more than what the camera was following, but the way it goes. I wasn't going to stop halfway and move the camera when I'm doing a straight line. Okay, so I do have a little drip of paint, which makes is of absolutely no importance whatsoever, but yet, the picky little me that I am, oh putain, is going to make a bigger mess. There we go. What an idiot. Okay. Can't believe it. Typical. So, let me just go down this left-hand side since I'm right here. Oh, there we go. Very good. Let me just go back up to this top edge right there now and do that part. And what would happen if I shut off the light here just for the glare? Would that be a, let's see what that happens here. I know there's that glare from my bulb that's on top, but camera over a little bit, just like that. Not sure I have enough paint to do the whole frame. I hope I do. There we go. Okay, so let's continue down this left-hand side. I'm not sure how the camera's working out. Switched it to camera number 2, but hopefully you can see what's going on. I should turn around, take a look at the computer maybe. That'd be smart, just to see how things are going. Okay, what the hell? They look okay. So let's come on back over here to this left-hand side. Bring the camera down, way down here. Pull it back a little bit. There we go. And I am going to need my chair here for a second. So let's get this side done. Trying to stretch my paint as far as I can without adding water to it. Make sure it stays nice and opaque. Only thing I want to see tomorrow is just brush strokes. guess it doesn't really matter since they'll probably take that second coat no matter what. And looks like I will have plenty of paint to finish this off nicely. Well, that's kind of a relief. Never too good at timing or calculating the amount of paint that I need. You would think that after 40 years of doing this shit, I would know exactly the amount of what I need. But that's kind of one of the tricks. It was like when you're doing, I'm going to turn on the light again. It's when I was doing carpentry. It's the same kind of thing, trying to figure out exactly the amount of materials you need to get the job done so you don't have any waste. Just a little bit overconfident saying that I was going to have enough paint to finish this. If I do, it's going to be just the right amount. That's for damn sure. Bring the camera over here for that final section. There we go. And move this over. And I'll just switch over to camera number 1 as well. Okay, all right. The final stretch, and I have just enough paint to do that. Look at that. Put this last stretch on nice and thick. Use up all the paint that's left. Beautiful. All right, very good. Very good. So, let's get this baby out of the way. Let's put that to soak. Let's move camera number 1 all the way back here so we can have a global view of the painting. Just like that. And so let's check it out. That's our painting from camera number 2.